What's going on, guys? I'm Built, and welcome back to another Minecraft Bedrock farm tutorial video. In this video today, I'm going to be going over my flying machine farm. This flying machine is really cool because it uses absolutely no observers on the flying machine, which means that this thing is never going to break, even if you unload the area. Log in, log out, it doesn't matter. It's going to keep on flying and harvesting the area. That way you can have a continuous supply of all of the amazing goods behind me. Another note to mention before we get started, this is going to be a pretty extensive building process getting this farm put together, and it's not necessarily designed for early game applications because it is rather expensive. This is primarily made for later game where you want a nice easy farm that you can run without having to worry about it breaking. Now this observerless flying machine farm has actually been under development for quite some time, and I've made many different versions of it. If we go down here, I have an old copy of the Conjuring Realm that I used to play on. I believe it's this one right here. And if we go into here, we should be able to teleport right over here to my industrial district, and you can see that this is the first version of it, and most all of the redstone is laid out on the side, and I've done quite a bit to really compact this thing and make it a lot better of a farm. But as you can see, the root mechanics are still the same here, and it still works wonderful. And I do also have this farm inside of a fully automatic kelp farm, so make sure that you're subscribed, that way you catch whenever I upload this video. Now this farm exactly was not first on the list because I have a long list of tutorials that I need to get published and uploaded to YouTube. However, because we have the new bamboo blocks on the 1.20 update, that has caused me to expedite this, that way we can have lots and lots of bamboo for all of that new amazing bamboo wood. Inside of this farm, we have 5 different things that you can harvest. You can see in front of me, we have a ton of sugarcane. We have bamboo in front of me. We have twisting vines here as well. And all the way over here to the back, we have cactus down there as well. I'll go over more with the cactus here in a moment. Then we also have the weeping vines hanging there. And above us, we have many dripstone. Now the only thing that you really need to watch out for is going to be the dripstone and the cactus. The cactus here, if you decide to plant these, you need to remember that whenever an item bounces off of this thing and hits the cactus, it's going to destroy that item, which means that the cactus can destroy some of your items. Furthermore, whenever all of those are harvested and falls down on top of the cactus, it can further destroy the items, leading to a loss of the rates of your farm. I would not really recommend having cactus inside of this farm unless you really only need a few of the cactus. If you need a larger supply, then I would highly recommend building a larger cactus farm. Because the items will fall down on top of the cactus and get destroyed, that means that we need to have a shelf here that's going to allow all of these items to fall down onto here and to be pushed off the edge to where they can land safely without being destroyed. However, that makes another issue because if you have dripstone above the shelf, it is close enough for the dripstone to grow on the bottom here, and that's going to lead to broken water sources and items not being pushed. So if you do want cactus in here, make sure that you have a shelf in this position here, and make sure that you don't have any dripstone above the shelf. If you do both of those, then you should have very little item loss. If you don't want any cactus inside of the farm, then you don't need this shelf here at all, and you can plant anything anywhere that you wish. If the main purpose of you building this farm is going to be to harvest only dripstone, and you want dripstone growing on the top and the bottom, then you're going to have to lower the entire height of the top of this by 4 blocks. So you're basically going to bring it down 4 levels and have it 4 blocks lower. That way the dripstone can actually grow on the blocks down below. This farm by default runs every 3 Minecraft days, and that leads to a pretty substantial harvest inside of here. However, you can modify how many days it runs if you want more or less by modifying the redstone here and the hopper count here. I'll go into a little bit more on that whenever I'm doing the tutorial. This farm does also have a manual harvest switch. If you wish to manual harvest it, then you can hit that button and it's going to manual harvest all of the crops, which is very satisfying to watch. And then we're going to have the carts running underneath it. These carts are on a timer, and it's going to launch these carts several times due to picking up the mass number of items. And with the amount of items bouncing around, you can see what I mean about the cactus destroying things. We do also have a stop switch down here, which you can turn off. And as soon as you turn that off, it's going to stop the flying machines in their place. And whenever you wish to restart the farm, then you want to turn the farm back on and hit that manual relaunch button. That farm's going to start back up, and then everything's going to work as it should. These guys are going to finish going across and then go back, and then they're going to find their way home, park, and wait for the next harvest time to occur. Now this farm I am going to be building on flat surface, so it is going to be popped up like this one here. However, if you want this thing on ground level, then you're going to want to dig this down at least 6 blocks. That way we have room for all of the redstone underneath. Next thing that we need to do is chunk align our build. The only way that I can guarantee the reliability and the performance of this farm is if you do indeed chunk align it, so make sure that it is chunk aligned. If you don't know how to do this, I do have a shorts video I'll put in the top right now. That's going to show you a shorts video showing you how to chunk align using the leaf method. It's simple and easy to do, and all it takes is a few leaves from a tree in order to find the chunk borders. If you are open to downloading an add-on pack, I do have a wonderful add-on pack by Foxy No-Tail where you can just put down an armor stand, give them a banner, and then you can toggle through a bunch of helpful tools. And one of these tools are going to be your chunk lines. So you can see all of our chunk lines are marked out here, which is indicated inside of the gray deep slate blocks. The link for Foxy No-Tail's marker pack will be down inside of the description below. And if you find value inside of this video, consider dropping a like while you're down there. Thanks. Now once you have marked out the 2 chunks, you might have noticed the black stone here, and this is to mark out where the chest and everything else is going to extend past the chunk border. So on the side that you want the chest to be on, where all of the items are going to go, you're going to want to extend it out an additional 4 blocks all the way out. And then on the opposite side, you're going to want to extend this out from the chunk border by 2 blocks. This should give us plenty of room for all of our redstone. Now once you have all of your area marked out, if you decide that you want all of the redstone hidden underneath the ground, you're going to dig all of this down by 6 blocks deep. And that's going to put the ground level right here where it is level with the tracks. Now for this, I'm going to be using a bunch of different colored wool for all of the circuitry. You can use regular blocks if you would like. However, I do recommend using a colored block such as wool or concrete. That way you can color these and have all of your circuits separated. Whatever you do choose, it does need to be a block that can conduct redstone. It cannot be a transparent block such as glass. To start off, we're going to be going to the back of the farm, the one that's extended by 2 blocks here. We're going to be going to the right hand chunk border here where the corner's at. We're going to extend this to the left by 7 and then forwards by 2. On this area here, we're going to place down 1 red wool block. We are going to bring this forward an additional 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then we're going to bring it forward this direction by 1 and then go forward an additional 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to put down a temporary block, a block here, remove that temporary block, and then we're going to place down a temporary block here and a permanent block here, remove that temporary block. This is what you should have. On the very back, we're going to place down a temporary block, a solid block, remove that temporary block, a temporary block, solid block, remove that temporary block, and a temporary and solid block, remove that temporary block. Then we are going to grab our redstone and place redstone dust here, here, and here, with a redstone repeater here. Leave this on the standard 1 tick delay. Then we're going to place down redstone dust here and here, and then we're going to place 3 repeaters facing this direction, and all 3 of these need to be on a 4 tick delay. Then you could take your redstone dust and bring your redstone dust all the way over, all the way up, and all the way to the end, just like that. Next, we're going to grab our orange wool. We're going to come over here to these 3 repeaters here, and we're going to find the piece of redstone dust directly behind them. We're going to select the hitbox there and place down a piece of orange wool directly off of the side of that hitbox. Then we're going to extend this to the left by 8. That should bring you to the very edge of your chunk border. Then you're going to take this and extend it to the left by an additional 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Once you get to the end here, you're going to place down a temporary block, a permanent block, remove that temporary block. Then you're going to go to the right, skip a block, place down a temporary block here, a permanent block here, a temporary block, and a permanent block. Remove these 2 temporary blocks. Next, you're going to grab your redstone dust and your repeaters. You're going to place down 6 pieces of redstone dust here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then we're going to place down a redstone repeater facing this direction on a 1 tick delay. Then you're going to fill the rest of this up all the way across with redstone dust to here. Leave this spot here empty. Next, you're going to take your blue wool blocks and we're going to come to the end of the red here. We're going to place down 2 temporary blocks and a permanent block here. Remove those 2 temporary blocks. Then we're going to place down a temporary block here and put 2 solid blocks underneath it. Remove that temporary block. And then underneath here, we can place down 3 solid blocks, just like this. Then we're going to place down a temporary block here, a permanent block here. Remove that temporary block. Then we're going to extend this out by 10. On the very end of this, we're going to place down a temporary block, a permanent block, remove that temporary block, temporary, permanent, remove, temporary, permanent, remove. And then on this side, we're going to place down a temporary block, a permanent block going in this direction, and that's going to conclude the rest of the blue wool. Next, you want to grab your redstone dust and your repeaters. You're going to place redstone dust down in all of these locations here. Once you get to here, you're going to place 2 more here. And then you're going to place a redstone repeater facing this direction on a 4 tick delay. Then you can take redstone dust and place redstone dust on top of the remaining blue wool blocks. Next, we're going to come down here to your blue wool, right where your 3 block divot is down here. And we're going to take our darker green wool we're going to place down one piece right here. We're going to extend this to the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then we're going to place down a temporary block here and a permanent block here. Remove that temporary block. And then a temporary block here, a permanent block here. Remove that temporary block. Then we're going to place in 3 pieces of wool here. Then we're going to go to this wool block here. We're going to extend this to the left by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we're going to place a temporary block here, a permanent block here. Remove that temporary block. A temporary block here, a permanent block here, and remove that temporary block. Next, we're going to grab 10 redstone repeaters. We're going to go to this block here and place a repeater facing this direction. This needs to be on a 4-tick delay. Then we're going to go forward by 3 blocks. Go to the 4th block here, and then we're going to place repeaters all the way down here until you get to this block here. Every one of these need to be on a 4-tick delay. Inside of your 3x2 area here, we're going to place a redstone comparator facing this way and a redstone comparator facing this way. Then we're going to take our redstone dust and place redstone dust in all of these locations here. At the very end, you're going to take your redstone torches, and we're going to place a redstone torch here and a redstone torch here. So this is what you should have once that's finished. Next, we're going to be placing in all of our lime wool. So go ahead and grab a sticky piston and come to this orange wool block here. We're going to place a sticky piston facing this direction with a piece of lime wool on the face of that sticky piston. Then on the back side here, we're going to take a redstone comparator, place in that comparator there with a barrel directly behind it. Inside of that barrel, you want to grab a non-stackable item and place a single non-stackable item inside of there, and that should extend that piston. Next, you want to place down a temporary block here, a solid block here, a solid block here, remove that temporary block. Then we're going to place down a solid block here, a temporary block here with a solid block here, remove that temporary block. Then you're going to take another piece of wool and place one here and one here. Then you're going to bring this forwards by 3, and then build it in this direction by 2 additional blocks. Then take your redstone repeaters and place a repeater here and a repeater here. Then line this entire thing with redstone dust. Also place a piece of redstone dust down here with a repeater here facing in this direction on a 3-tick delay. And then place down a redstone torch right here. Next, at the very end of your lime wool, we're going to take some sticky pistons, and we're going to place a sticky piston facing this direction and a sticky piston facing this direction. Then we're going to take 2 observers, place down an observer here facing this direction, and a observer here facing this direction as well. Then we're going to take 2 regular pistons, and we're going to place a regular piston on top of that observer facing this direction, and a regular piston on top of this observer facing this direction, with a piece of lime wool on the top here. Now, before we place in the rest of our lime wool, we do want to make sure that this block here is indeed on the left-hand side. So once we verify that it is, we are going to go to this observer here. We're going to build this to the left by 2. Place down a temporary block, solid block, remove that temporary block, and solid block, remove that temporary block. Then we want to go to the right-hand side, verifying that that block is still on that side. And then we're going to place down a temporary block here, a permanent block here, remove that temporary block, temporary, permanent, remove, temporary, permanent, remove. So this is what you should have. Once you've done that, you're going to grab your redstone torches. We're going to place down a torch on the left side and a torch underneath it here. Then we're going to do the same thing on this side, placing a torch here and a torch underneath it, just like this. Next, we're going to be installing all of our purple wool. I do warn you that this does get a little hectic, so make sure that you're following along closely. We're going to go to this comparator here. We're going to crouch place a piece of purple wool to the side of it, just like this. Then we're going to bring this out by 1 and to the right by 1. We're going to place down a temporary block here with a permanent block directly below it. Remove that temporary block and extend this towards this direction by 1. Then we're going to add 2 blocks here, just like this. We're going to place down a piece of wool here and extend this out by 1 as well. Next, we're going to go here and extend this to the right by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to do the same thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we're going to bring this out by 1 and extend this to the left by 3. 1, 2, 3. You should have 2 blocks open here. Next, you're going to grab your temporary blocks and purple wool. We're going to go to this corner here. We're going to place down 2 temporary blocks here with 2 permanent blocks here. Remove these 2 temporary blocks. Then we're going to place down 4 temporary blocks here. 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. We're going to place a solid block on top and remove all 4 of these temporary blocks. Then you're going to place down a redstone torch here with 1 final piece of purple wool on top of it. So this is what you should have. Next, we're going to take redstone dust and place redstone dust here and here with a repeater here facing this direction on a 1-tick delay. Then we're going to place a repeater here facing this direction on a 4-tick delay. Then we're going to take redstone dust and place it here and here. Grab you 2 comparators. We're going to place down a comparator here and a comparator facing this direction as well. Then we're going to take 3 pieces of redstone dust and place them all right here. We're going to grab some more repeaters. We're going to place down a repeater here on a standard 1 tick delay. We're going to place in 2 repeaters here. Both of these need to be on a 4 tick delay. And then here we're going to place down another repeater, put this on a 4 tick delay as well. Then you're going to take redstone dust and wrap the redstone dust all the way around here. So this is what you should have so far. Next we're going to grab a sticky piston. We're going to come around to this block over here. Place down a sticky piston here with a observer facing this direction here. You want the output arrow facing towards the redstone dust. Then we're going to place down a piece of redstone dust here with a redstone comparator here. Next we can grab some temporary blocks and place down a temporary block here and here. Take you a hopper and place a hopper facing into that top temporary block like that. Then we're going to place in a hopper facing into that hopper, another hopper facing into that hopper. Then we're going to remove these 2 temporary blocks and place another hopper facing into that hopper there. At this point, if you wish to add more or less days to the cycle, this is going to be set to a default of 3 days every harvest. However, every locked hopper that you add to this is going to be an additional day. So for this tutorial, I'm just going to leave it set to the default 3 days. Next, you need to grab you a non-stackable item and throw it inside of any hopper that you wish. Then on top here, we are going to grab 3 pieces of redstone dust and place down the 3 pieces just like that. Next, on this purple block here, you're going to place down 4 temporary blocks. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Remove these 3. Then you're going to grab a sticky piston. Place a sticky piston facing this direction. Then you're going to grab an observer, and we're going to place down a observer facing in this direction here. Make sure that that output arrow is facing in the direction of your hoppers. We can now remove that temporary block. Go ahead and grab you a daylight sensor, and we're going to place a daylight sensor on top of that sticky piston. Next, you want to come back over here to the barrel. We're going to be placing in our lever to turn the farm on and off, and also our manual harvest button. You want to go on top of this barrel here and crouch place a temporary block here. Then on the left hand side, we're going to place down a redstone lamp. On the right hand side, we're going to place down whatever solid block that you would like. This is going to be exposed to the surface. So for this, I'm just going to use a blackstone block and place down a wooden button on top of it. Remove this temporary block, and on top of this redstone lamp, we can go ahead and place a lever there. And then once we have all of our glass in, then all of this is going to be functional. Next, you're going to grab your regular pistons, and we're going to come down here to the very end of your orange wool. We're going to go to this piece of redstone dust here and select the side hitbox of it. We're going to place down a regular piston here facing in this direction, and a regular piston here facing in this direction. That way these regular pistons can push this wool block back and forth as needed. Then you're going to grab your redstone dust. We're going to place down a piece of redstone dust on this lime wool here. Then we're going to place down 2 pieces of redstone dust here and here. So now with all of that redstone done, we can finally test out the circuitry. So what we need to do is to grab some temporary redstone lamps, and we're going to go over here to this torch here, place down a lamp on top of that one, and a lamp on top of this one. The reason why we need these is because there is a visual bug to where these torches don't always light up whenever they're supposed to. So in order to test it out, we can toggle this daylight sensor a few times until we start seeing our circuitry start to light up. And as soon as that happens, you'll be able to see this redstone lamp flashing here. And as you can see, we have that bug occurring because, well, Bedrock. So since this side is flashing first, it means that this flying machine is going to be going in this direction. And as soon as we hit this, it's going to tell the machine that it is parked. So we can simulate an observer here by placing down a lever here, turning it on and off very quickly, and then it's going to shut off the machine after switching the sides. So now that we know that the flying machine is parked, we can go back over here to the daylight sensor, and we can toggle this back on and off a few more times to simulate the days going by. And then you should start seeing the redstone circuitry lighting up. Now this time, this lamp over here is going to start flashing instead. This lamp flashing indicates that the flying machine is going to be making its way in this direction here. And then once it hits this observer here, which we can simulate again with another lever, we can flip that on and off very quickly. And then that's going to change the direction of the flying machine, which is going to turn on this side, making the flying machine go this way. And then once we get back over here, it's going to hit an observer here, which is going to simulate it being parked and tell the machine to turn off, which we can replicate by hitting that lever again. If this is the functionality that you have, then all of your redstone is correctly installed and we are good to proceed to the next step. It is much easier to diagnose it whenever it's like this instead of having a large farm over top of it. So if it does not operate like this, make sure that you go back and check all of the redstone components, all of your repeater settings, and make sure that everything is good to go. Now we can remove our 2 temporary levers that we placed here and over here. And then we can remove our temporary redstone lamps as well. And now we are good to proceed to the next step. Next, we're going to start installing all of our glass. So go ahead and grab your glass and also your redstone dust. We're going to start on this blue piece of wool here. We're going to place in a piece of glass here, a piece of glass here, and a piece of glass here. Then a temporary block here, and a piece of glass here. Remove that piece of glass. Then we're going to place in redstone dust here and here, leaving these two pieces of glass empty on top. Next, on top of your dark green wool, we're going to place down a piece of glass here with a piece of redstone dust on it. Then you're going to go over here to your orange wool, place down a piece of glass here with a piece of redstone dust on it. Next, go over here to your red wool. We're going to go to this piece of redstone dust here. Select the side hitbox, place down a piece of glass there, place down a piece of redstone dust on top, and do the same thing, glass and redstone. Then you're going to place glass, glass, redstone, redstone, and then that's going to complete the glass for the lower section. Next, you're going to grab all of the solid blocks that you wish to build the entire farm out of. For this, I'm going to be using the polished blackstone block again. You're also going to want your redstone blocks and also some regular rails and some powered rails. You want to go over here to this piston here with this green wool block here. This piston should be inside of the extended state. If it is not, you can throw down a lever and power that on. However, this does need to be inside of the extended state, that way the location of the block is correct. You're going to place down a solid block here. And then you're going to extend this to the right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then you're going to go and extend this block here to the right hand side by 11. Then you want to come back over here and extend this block here to the left by 20. Make sure that you take special care not to change any of the redstone underneath it. Now you want to grab your redstone blocks. We're going to go back to where we started. We're going to go to the right by 3. 1, 2, and 3, and on the fourth block here, we're going to place down a piece of redstone block here. Then we're going to extend this to the right by 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Next, we're going to go all the way to the very end here. We're going to place down 5 redstone blocks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then we're going to go inside of the center here, find this green wool block. We're going to go up by 1, to the right by 1, and then place 5 more redstone blocks here. Next, we can grab our regular solid blocks again. We're going to place down a solid block here, bring this all the way across until we meet up with the very end. And then once you meet up with the end, we're going to box this off and fill in this entire area all the way across with solid blocks. Then we're going to grab some solid blocks, place down a temporary block here, a solid block here, remove that temporary block here, a solid block here, remove that temporary. Then we're going to grab these blocks and we're going to extend them all the way to the very end. And do the same on this side as well. Everywhere that we have a bar of redstone blocks, you are going to remove the solid block that we just placed in and place down another block of redstone. Next, we're going to grab our solid blocks and come over to the side where we're going to be building our item unloader. We're going to go to this block here and add a solid block here. Then we're going to add a line of solid blocks right down here. Then you want to come over here to this block here. We're going to count to the right by 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to place down a temporary block here and a temporary block here. Then we're going to place a chest here and a chest here. Go ahead and remove both of those temporary blocks. Next, you're going to grab your hoppers and you're going to go to the back of this chest. You're going to crouch place a hopper into the back of each side of this chest. Then you're going to crouch place a hopper into the side of each one of those hoppers. Next, we're going to crouch place a hopper into the side of the chest there. Place a hopper here, a hopper here, a hopper here, and a hopper going into this one as well. Then we're going to go on the other side, place a hopper going into the side of that chest, a hopper here, and one last hopper here. From underneath, this is how all of your hoppers should be facing going into the chest. You can add however many hoppers and chests that you want directly underneath this thing to fit your needs. Now back on top, you're going to add 9 more hoppers inside of all of these locations facing straight down to the hopper that's directly below them. Next, on this hopper here, you can place down a powered rail. And then on the very side of that powered rail, you can place down a solid block. Then you're going to bring these solid blocks all the way across the back side here. Grab you some redstone dust, and we're going to take that redstone dust and line the entire top of that with redstone dust. Now we can get started placing in all of our powered rails. So what you want to do is go to this rail here, place in a regular rail, and then take powered rails and go all the way across until you get to the other side. Then you can place another powered rail here, another regular rail here, another powered rail here, and then bring this rail all the way to the other side. You can repeat this process 7 more times until you get all the way to the other side here. Now on the opposite side of the farm, you're going to place in all of your bumper blocks. So you're going to go to this side here, place in a temporary block here, a permanent block here, and a permanent block on the left-hand side. Remove that temporary block. Then you can bring this all the way across. A temporary block here and another permanent block here. Then you can go ahead and remove that temporary block. At this point, you can take 9 of your hopper minecarts and place them down on top of all of your non-powered rails. If you want to test these out before you place all of the blocks over top of your rails, you can place down a lever here, give it a quick flip on. That's going to release all of the minecarts, and then they should all come back to you. And as soon as they come back, as long as this lever is off, they should park and stay right where they're at. Now at this point, we need to figure out what all we need inside of the farm. I'm going to go ahead and replicate everything that I have planted inside of here. That way you can see how I plant each and everything to be the most efficient inside of the farm. However, I would highly recommend planning all of this out with the plants that you want to have inside of here. That way you don't have to change any of them, because if you need to change out something such as a waterlogged stair, then you have those rails underneath it, and if you don't change them out fast enough, then it's going to allow that water to spill down and remove all of the rails beneath. So on this side here, I'm going to have sugar canes. So I'm going to start on this row here. You don't want to go any further to the right, because if you place a block here, it's going to keep these minecarts from being able to come down. So to start our sugarcane row, we're going to place down a stair here. Then we're going to turn and place down some more stairs all the way over, and then end it with a sideways stair. That way we have all of the water that's kept inside of the farm and is not spilling out of the side, removing rails. Then we're going to place down 2 more farm rows. We're going to place down another stair, 2 more farm rows, another stair, 2 more farm rows, another stair, 2 more farm rows, and another stair with another farm row on the side. We do this because sugarcane has to be planted next to water. Now we can go ahead and drag everything across, just like before. All of your sugarcane rows should look exactly like this, and if you would like, you can test this to make sure that you don't have any minecarts that are going to get stuck by just putting those down, giving it a nice flip of the lever. They're going to go all the way to the end, and then they should return home, and then park after they're done. Next, we can go through here and waterlog all of these stairs. Don't place down any of the sugarcane yet, because we don't want that getting inside of the way whenever we're trying to work. Next, on the opposite side here, we're going to go to this rail here, and we're going to place down a solid block, bring this all the way across. Then we're going to fill these 3 rows in, just like this. These 3 rows are going to be where our flying machine docks at. And then after those, we'll have this point forward. This is going to be the rest of the farmable area. If you do decide to place any of the cactus inside of here, I would highly recommend doing it as close to the docking area as possible. That way you don't have a ton of items flying into the cactus being destroyed. So if we wanted to plant some cactus in here, we would go across with some dirt, and then we would place in dirt just like this, making a grid pattern with some sand here, here, and here. Another row of dirt. Some sand here, here, and here, with some more dirt, inside of kind of a checkerboard pattern. If you would like, you could also go back and remove these and place some more sand in like this, and add in a few more pieces of cactus. However, cactus cannot be next to a block, or else it's not going to be able to be planted there. The rest of this you can just fill in with dirt. It does not require any special preparation, and this is where all of the bamboo is going to be planted. Now from this side here, we're going to place down a temporary block down here, and then a solid block here. Remove that temporary block, and we're going to bring this all the way across until it pokes out by 1 on this side, and we're going to place another one here, making it poke out on this side. Then we're going to add 2 here, and then a sea lantern. Now you can use any light emitting block that you would like here, as long as redstone signal is able to pass through it. For this, I prefer to use sea lanterns, but what you want to do is place down 2 more solid blocks, a sea lantern, 2 more solid blocks, a sea lantern, until you get all the way to the end there. And then once you get to the very end, you can bring this out to match up with the end here. Bring it all the way across. And then once you get to the very end, you can add in a row of blocks right here. That's going to go all the way across, just like so. Next, we're going to place down some redstone dust on both sides here and here. Just make sure that you keep them inside of the farm here, so you don't want any redstone dust on this side or the other side over there. So you're going to take redstone dust and lay it all the way across here, stopping before you get to that last block. Then you're going to do the same thing right over here with redstone dust all the way across, and stopping before you get to that block as well. Then you're going to grab you some glazed terracotta. It does not matter what kind of glazed terracotta you have, and you're going to line it on top of all of that redstone all the way across on both sides. And then you're going to place more redstone dust on top of all of that glazed terracotta, ultimately leaving you with a design that looks just like this. Next, on this side of the farm, we're going to take more solid blocks and we're going to go all the way across the back here, just like this. Then we're going to line up with this piece of redstone dust here and place down an observer facing in that direction with a solid block directly behind it. Then we can fill this in all the way across until we get to right here. Once we get here, we're going to take a piece of obsidian. We're going to place our obsidian right here and then place another solid block right there. That obsidian is going to keep our flying machine from literally flying out of the farm. Then we're going to make our way all the way to the opposite side, where we're going to place down another row of solid blocks here. Then we're going to come to this block right here, place our observer here with a solid block behind it, a solid block here, then a line of solid blocks here until we get to this block here, where we're going to place our obsidian again with another solid block right here. Next, you want to come down here to your lime green wool, and on top of this torch we're going to place down another solid block. We're going to place down another torch on top of here. Then we're going to place down another solid block here with a torch here and a torch on top. On top of here you can place down another solid block with another torch. That's going to be our torch tower going to the top if you want to indeed have a top flying machine. However, it's not necessary unless you want one up there. You can totally run this farm with just the lower flying machine if you don't have any interest in harvesting any of the hanging materials. For that reason, the top part of the farm will be the last part that we build. What we want to focus on now is this part here. You're going to go to this torch here that is lit up, and you're going to place down a solid block here. We're going to build this out by 3 in this direction with a solid block here, and then 3 in this direction with a solid block here. Then you're going to come around here and you're going to build this towards the right hand side by 2. And then come to this side as well and build this to the left hand side by 2 as well. We're going to take our redstone dust and place redstone dust here, here, and here. And then redstone dust here, here, and here as well. Then you can grab your glass. We're going to place down a piece of glass here with redstone dust here, and a piece of glass here with redstone dust here. Then you can grab your solid blocks again, bring these in by 2. And then you're going to do the same thing on this side, placing down 2 more solid blocks. Next, you want to grab your repeaters. We're going to place down a repeater here, set that on a 3-tick delay. A repeater here on a 3-tick delay. Down here you're going to place down a repeater here, leave that on the default setting, and a repeater here, leave that on the default setting. Now on the opposite side you're going to do the exact same thing. You're going to take your solid blocks, place down a solid block here with a redstone torch on top of it, another solid block with a torch here, and then you can carry this up if you plan on building a top flying machine again. But what we want to focus on again is right down here where this lit torch is. We're going to place down a solid block here. We're going to go to the left by 3, placing a solid block here, and here. Then we're going to go to the right hand side, build this out by 3, place down a solid block here, and 2 more solid blocks here. Then we can take our redstone dust, placing redstone dust here, here, and here, and then in these 3 locations as well. Place down a piece of glass here and a piece of glass here, with a solid block here and a solid block here, redstone dust on top of the glass, and then you can place down a repeater here on 3 ticks delay, a repeater here on 3 ticks delay. Down here you're going to place down a repeater here, leave that on the default setting, and a repeater here, leave that on the default setting. And then on this side only you are going to add an additional block here, right on the side of this redstone dust, to connect this over here, going up into that redstone dust. Now on this side here, we're going to place down a solid block here and bring this all the way across, ensuring that you place in blocks inside of the center here. Bring this all the way through here, place down a block there, and then continue it all the way to the other side. And then on the second row, we're going to place in 2 blocks here, skip 2 blocks, and then we're going to bring this all the way across as well, making sure that we don't miss any of the areas to fill in. And then on the third row, we're going to just bring this all the way across. Now on this side of the farm, we're going to do almost the same thing. We're going to place in a block here, bring this all the way across, ensuring that we don't miss any of the areas to fill in. Then we're going to do a second and then a third row as well, going all the way across, ensuring that we don't miss any of these areas to fill in. And then on each of the ends, we're going to place in a row of blocks all the way across, and a row of blocks here as well, just to bring it up and level. So once you get done with that, it should look just like this. And of course I have a wandering trader that spawned inside. Next, what you want to do is grab you a couple buttons. We're going to come directly below each one of these observers and place down a button on the wall there, and a button all the way over here. That way, if anything ever decides to grow over here, it's going to keep it from growing in front of this observer and breaking the farm. Next, we're going to go over to where the docking area is for the flying machine. We're going to get our flying machines installed now. You want to grab your glazed terracotta and your slime blocks, and also your regular pistons and sticky pistons. We're going to start off with our glazed terracotta over here by the observer. We're going to count out on the left hand side by 3. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to place down a slime block here, 5 pieces of glazed terracotta going across, and then another slime block here. On the right hand side, we are going to take a regular piston and place down a regular piston here facing in this direction, and then on the left hand side a sticky piston here facing in this direction. Then we want to come down underneath on the left hand side, grab a regular piston, and we're going to go to the piece of redstone dust right past this slime block here. We're going to place down a regular piston facing in this direction. And we're going to go to this side and place down a sticky piston in the same location. So the piece of redstone dust directly past the slime block, we're going to place down a sticky piston here facing in this direction. Then we're going to take some slime blocks and place the slime blocks all the way across the underbody of this glazed terracotta. So this is what you should have, and for reference, this should be a regular piston, sticky piston, and then a sticky piston and regular piston. That way we get both directions going back and forth. So now to test this thing out, you're going to turn this lever on and then turn it off, and then you're going to hit your manual harvest button, and then that should allow your flying machine to start flying across and sweeping out all of your wandering traders. And hopefully if you did everything correct, it should hit that observer and then turn around and go back the opposite direction. However, I definitely did not do everything correct. I misplaced a couple blocks. So we are going to grab this obsidian and move it down 1 and place that there. And then we are going to move this observer down 1, place it here, replace that, and then don't forget to replace your solid block as well. And that should fix the issue, and your flying machine should start going the opposite direction. And then as soon as it docks, it should shut off if everything has been done correct. And it seems that we did everything correctly, aside from misplacing a few blocks. But then you want to take a piece of glazed terracotta and place one piece here and one piece there. That's going to act as a sweeper to sweep off whatever items remain on top of that slime block. At this point, we can get started placing in all of our glass. Now, if you're wanting to harvest the dripstone on the top and the bottom, you're going to want to only go up 3 blocks tall with the glass. However, if you don't care about harvesting the lower side of the dripstone and you want to prioritize all of the other stuff inside of there, then you're going to want to go up an additional 4 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's going to give you plenty of room for the stuff to grow. However, you can go up as high as you would like. That way you have plenty of room for your vines and everything else to grow. However, for this, I'm just going to stick with the 7 block tall glass for the ease of the tutorial. Then you want to grab your glass, and we're going to bring your glass all the way across here, all the way to the end, all the way around here. And then we're going to bring this all the way across the redstone, and then all the way across here, and then connect this over to here. So you basically want to put all of your glass in these locations here and then bring it up 7 blocks tall. Once you have all of your glass built up, it should look just like this. Then you're going to want to grab your solid blocks and also your sea lanterns again. And we're going to pretty much mirror everything that we have down here. So we're going to start with a solid block here, a sea lantern, 2 solid blocks, sea lantern, and so forth until we make our way all the way around. So this is what you should have. Then you're going to take your redstone dust and line the entire top of this with redstone dust, excluding the 2 ends. And just like before, take your glazed terracotta and place on top of all of your redstone dust. And on top of all of your glazed terracotta, you're going to place more redstone dust down. Then we're going to make a ring all the way around this redstone dust here, all the way across, all the way over. Wrap this all the way around. Then you want to grab your obsidian, and you're going to line up your obsidian here. So place down a piece of obsidian here, and then do the same on the other side, directly above where your obsidian is. Then you can take more of your solid blocks and wrap this all the way around once again. Then you're going to make a wall and wrap this all the way around 3 more times. Then you're going to want to make sure that you are using the appropriate materials to harvest whatever you are wanting to harvest. For example, if you are wanting to harvest the pointed dripstone, you are going to have to plant it on the dripstone block. So what I'm going to do is go down here above the redstone line. I'm going to place down a block that is directly above it. I'm going to use glass because it's non-spawnable. And I'm going to wrap this all the way around the interior here. And then I'm going to get all of my pointed dripstone in so it can grow. So I'm going to place in 19 blocks here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Then I'm going to fill this entire section in with the dripstone blocks. And then the rest of this I'm just going to fill in with glass. Now because of the pointed dripstone, we are going to waterlog the entire top here. So we're going to bring water all the way across. And then we're going to bring this water down inside of an L shape. And then that's going to allow all of this to turn into source blocks. That way our pointed dripstone will grow. Now on this side of the flying machine farm, we need to remove a couple pieces of glass to get in here. We're going to start building our flying machine on this side here. So you want to go to where the flying machine dock is, and instead of making a U like this, we're going to invert the flying machine. So we're going to place in a piece of glazed terracotta here and a piece here. Then we're going to take some glass, build this up by 1 with glazed terracotta all the way across the middle here. We do want to make sure that our pistons are arranged just like it is down here. So we're going to grab this regular piston. The regular piston needs to be facing this direction. So we're going to go on this piece of redstone dust and place that down here facing this direction with a slime block here. We're going to go on this side and place down a sticky piston here facing this direction with a slime block here. Then we're going to go to the opposite side and we're going to place down a regular piston on this side with a sticky piston on this side. Then we're going to take our slime block and bring that all the way across as well. Then we can also take some of the glazed terracotta and we're going to place glazed terracotta all the way across. That way it sweeps all of the items off whenever the flying machine comes through. Now to reiterate, on the right hand side here, we have the regular piston back there. And we have the regular piston right here. And then on this side we have the sticky piston, and then on this side here we have the sticky piston back there, sticky piston back here, and then regular piston here, and regular piston here. These do need to be inside of the correct order or else the flying machine will not fly correctly. Next we need to get started on the redstone that actually controls the flying machine up top, so we need to come over to our torch towers on this side. We're going to grab us a solid block and also a redstone torch. We're going to bring this torch tower up by 3. So 1, 2. The torch tower is going to depend on how high or how low you make this. So if you're only doing the dripstone on the top and bottom and you remove 4 of these glass blocks, you're going to remove 2 of these blocks and 2 of these torches, which should allow you to have everything line up correctly. So we can add a 3rd solid block and a 3rd redstone torch, and it should be up that high. The very top torch does need to be turned off, that way we don't have everything powered up whenever we're not using the flying machine. So you want to come to the very top of this torch, place down a solid block here, bring this out by 1, then we're going to go to the left by 3, 1, 2, 3, place a solid block here, and 1 solid block here. Then we're going to go to the right hand side, bring this out by 3, placing a solid block here and a solid block here. Next you could take your redstone dust and place redstone dust in all of these locations here. Next you're going to grab you some redstone repeaters and place a repeater here and a repeater here, both on the default 1 tick delay. Then you can place a piece of glass here, a piece of glass here, with a solid block here and a solid block here. Redstone repeater here on 3 ticks, redstone repeater here on 3 ticks, and then redstone dust on both pieces of glass. We're going to do this exact same thing on the opposite side. So let's go around to this side. We're going to bring this torch tower up by 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Place down a solid block on top. Bring this out by 1, 1, 2, 3 in this direction. Solid block here and a solid block here. Then we're going to do this side. 1, 2, 3, solid block, redstone repeater, redstone repeater, redstone dust on all of these locations here. Piece of glass here, piece of glass here, solid block here, redstone repeater here on 3 ticks, redstone repeater here on 3 ticks, redstone dust, and redstone dust. Now we can go down below and hit the manual harvest button. And as soon as we hit that, we should have our flying machines flying across if you did everything correct. And then once they get to the opposite side, they should hit that and then turn around and come all the way back over here. And then as soon as they get to the opposite side, they should dock and shut the farm off. If you have cactus inside of this farm, you are going to go over here to where you're going to be planting the cactus. You're going to go one up here, and you're going to bring this all the way across, make a platform here. This platform needs to come out by 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you're going to fill all of this in. And then you can place water all the way across here. That way whatever lands on here gets pushed off and goes down here. Next we're going to place in all of the stuff that we want to be harvested, so we can come down here and place in some cactuses here. I haven't specifically tested if placing cactus in the center here is going to result in even more cactus loss. However, you can add it in like this if you would like, or you can add it inside of the regular 1 block spacings like this. Everywhere else that is not next to the cactus, you can add in some bamboo here. Bring this all the way across. And then on all of the areas next to the stairs, you can place in some sugarcane. On the roof, you can add in all of your pointed dripstone. And then everywhere else you can plant your weeping vines in, all the way across here. Now, although we have all of the crops inside of here, the farm is not done just yet. We do still need to add in a few more pieces of redstone. To start this redstone, we are going to come over here to this green wool here, and we're going to build this out by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to want to come inside of here and build this out by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we are going to build this up by 1 and build this to the right by a total of 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we are going to take a sticky piston and have a sticky piston facing straight down. And on the face of that sticky piston, we are going to have an observer facing in that direction there. We are then going to come to this block here and build it to the left by 2. Then we're going to place a block here with 1 on top. Then we're going to build this to the right by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. On the very end, we're going to take a sticky piston and place a sticky piston facing in this direction. Then we're going to take an observer and have the observer facing away from the farm with the output arrow facing towards the farm. We are then going to go to the end of the redstone dust here. We're going to place in a block here, right on the side. Then we're going to place in a temporary block, a permanent block, remove that temporary block. And then a temporary block, a permanent block, remove that temporary block. Then we're going to build this to the left by 2. 1, 2. We're going to place in a piece of redstone dust here, and a repeater facing to the right hand side on a 4-tick delay. Then bring your redstone dust all the way down and connect it to the redstone dust below. Next on this corner here, you're going to place down 4 solid blocks here. Then you're going to grab a dropper, place a dropper down right here facing in this direction, with a hopper facing into the face of that dropper. Then you're going to place down a hopper facing straight down into that block. Both of these should not be connected. Then you can grab 3 of your redstone comparators, place down 1 here, and 1 here facing towards the left hand side. Then you can grab a piece of redstone dust, place a piece of redstone dust right here, and then take your redstone dust and bring it all the way over until it connects to your piston here. Down below, we're also going to place another piece of redstone dust here with a redstone repeater here on a 4-tick delay. Next, you want to come over to this area here. You are going to grab you a redstone repeater, place down a repeater on this block here facing towards the right on a 4-tick delay. Then you're going to place redstone dust, grab you 6 comparators. We're going to place down 3 comparators going this direction and 3 comparators going in this direction. Then you can take redstone dust and place it here and here. Take your redstone repeater and face it into this block here on a 4-tick delay. Place down redstone dust with another repeater here on a single 1-tick delay. Place a comparator in front of that. Left click on that comparator to put it inside of subtract mode. Then you're going to place redstone dust all the way behind here, all the way around, and then bring it into the dropper here. That way we make a super fast comparator clock. Then we can come over here to the left hand side. We're going to grab our glass. We're going to place down glass here and glass here with redstone dust on top of each piece of glass. Then we're going to take our solid blocks. We're going to bring our solid blocks all the way over and then place a solid block over top of this hopper here. Then we can take our redstone dust and place our redstone dust in all of these locations here and connect it to the redstone on top of the glass. Inside of this dropper here, you want to put 5 stacks of items that stack to 64. I just use bamboo because the bamboo grows very quickly. And inside of this hopper here, you want to put 3.5 stacks of items. These items also need to stack to a max of 64. Now the only thing left to do is to test this thing out, so we need to go over here to our daylight sensor and we are going to toggle this on and off until we hear our redstone start to go. And as soon as our redstone starts to go, we should start seeing items flying all over the place, being broken by the slime blocks. So after several hours of trying to figure out why this farm that I just built was not working, I went over and basically compared every aspect to the working farm. However, I could not find anything that was built wrong, and everything seemed to match perfectly. No matter what I did, the flying machine would get stuck down inside of the center here, which is right around where the chunk border is, and would not continue forward. So I automatically figured that it was a chunk border issue. However, this one that is on the exact same chunk border does not do it. So I decided that I was going to copy and paste this one that I just built far, far away, and paste it in multiple locations, not lining it up with any said chunk border. With that being said, it did not matter where or how I pasted it, it still did the exact same thing. Until I took a really close look and realized that it was clearing out the crops on this side, and then once it got here, it was not moving any further, which is very strange. Under closer inspection, I found out if we have bamboo in front of it, you'll be able to hit that with a slime block, and then pull this away, and it works as normal. However, if this bamboo is not fully grown up, and you just have a bud there, and then you push the slime block over, it will push over that just fine. However, whenever you pull it back, it will actually pull the bud back. And then you can move that back and forth however you see fit, which is definitely a bug for the current version of Minecraft. Furthermore, if I pull this back and you put down another bamboo there, you can see if I push that, it'll just push that off. I can also take a piece of glass, push that on there, and it's going to push that glass. That was definitely not the way it's supposed to work, and definitely threw me for a loop. And that's the reason why this one on this side was working just fine, because all of these were already grown. However, these were just freshly planted. So if you are inside of the current version of Minecraft and this is still a bug, then make sure that your bamboo is grown past 2 blocks, and then it's going to break it off at the stem, and then this will no longer be an issue. So we're going to crank up the random tick speed to 4,000 and make these grow super fast. That way we can test all of these out, get all of our dripstone grown. And now that everything is all grown up, we can go ahead and give this thing a test. So we're going to go all the way around here to the opposite side to simulate the day changing. And we can toggle this until all of our redstone turns on. And at that point we should start seeing the flying machine come across. There it goes. We have the flying machine coming across, just like it should. You can see we have stuff flying all over the place. And close this up so we don't lose too many items. And this farm is just so satisfying to watch. And once it gets to the very end, it's going to start going right back, just like it should. And hopefully this time we should not have any kind of hangups. And this thing should fully go all the way back and park itself just like it should. Now at this point the carts have already gone once, and as soon as they get down to being even, they're going to launch this cart again. And there we have launched it a second time. Then they are going to come back and start unloading everything they have. And then once all of that is unloaded, this timer should be down lower, and then launch the cart one final time to clean up whatever's left inside of the farm. Well, it looks like the carts on the second launch has just about picked up every single item inside of there. And we just had the third and final launch of the cart, and as you could see, it did not pick up really much of anything, and if it did, it was instantly transferred down to the chest. So let's go down here and check what we have. We have a ton of items inside of here, and I don't know how that got in there. But all in all, I would say that that is a big success. If you guys have any issues with building this, then please double check the tutorial, and if you continue to run into issues, then feel free to drop a comment down below. I know that this tutorial was an extremely long tutorial, but trying to fit all of this into a single tutorial video, there is a lot to go into, and making sure that it is all accurately done. I really appreciate you guys sticking around through it, and I hope that the farm serves you well for a long time to come inside of your Minecraft Bedrock worlds. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.